Arsenal need a winger. Arsenal need a difference maker. Arsenal need players with the potential to be top class and world class. You could argue we need players capable of individual brilliance. They're hard to find. You can find them for cheap, but they seem to be a premium in the modern day. If you can find hidden gems, great. If not, they tend to be quite expensive. What if I told you there is a left winger whose agent and dad has made clear that they want to leave and want to play in the Champions League, in which Arsenal obviously have qualified for next season? Step forward, KK. People, I tried to learn how to pronounce his name. I actually have to do some retakes. There was no way I could get that. I mean, no disrespect, but he's a quality player. And with Arsenal's transfer window or transfer rumors during this window in full swing, we've been linked with a number of players. You know, if we were willing to put down the money required, could you argue this is a player that could be a level raiser and make us stronger in our pursuit of Premier League and Champions League glory, or just winning trophies? I love this footballer, man, and I'll tell you why. First things first, he's been a key role for them in the last couple of years since signing for them. Last season was a bit of a dull for them as they finished 10th. He still managed to get 11 goals in all comps and 9 assists. And I must admit, they did come in bursts throughout the season. It was a far cry from the 14 goals and 17 assists he got in the season prior to the one that's just gone, as Napoli obviously won the league title. It's firmly a season to forget for Napoli that in the year that's just gone. And naturally, individually and collectively, players are going to be affected by the struggles. I do think during the season that's just gone, in and around February, he found his kind of form. If you go back to December, I think the 5 months or so in and around that period was kind of a bit of a dullness. You know, if you look at the pros, I think he'd be a curtain raiser. He's majestic in his dribbling. He's a player that will get fans off their seats. He can play the patient game as well as the direct game. He's got the capacity to score and assist and also improve that even more. With the greatest of respect to Napoli, in the Premier League, Arsenal tend to be on the front foot. So naturally, his numbers will be affected in a positive sense by that. I think he's got a great understanding of manipulating space off and on the ball. He links up well with his teammates. His ball retention skills are to a very high level. He's a very attacking-minded player and has a direct approach to his game when the time calls for it. You know, he's got skills to beat the top-level defenders and defenders alike, and he's obviously got the speed to go with it. And, you know, if you look in the season that's just kind of gone, he was averaging 5.4 progressive runs per 90. So that's a player that could carry Arsenal off up the pitch and stretch defenders. He had a dribbling success rate of 58% at a point, which evidently makes him a threat to any opposition Arsenal Football Club come across. He's also very skillful in delivering precise passes into the penalty area, which, as you know, is a critical aspect of attempting to break down mid and low block defenses. Very skillful attacking-minded winger. He likes to take on his defender in 1v1 situations and isolate them and kill them in a footballing sense. He's got the agility to cut inside and create goals or assists or shot creating actions or chances. He's got great pace, which naturally no fullback wants to play against. Another key factor I think the Georgian has in his game is his ability to recover the ball high up the field in attacking areas. You know, these include, you know, more counter-pressing recoveries. As you know, we look to win the ball very high up the field as a football club. And the 23-year-old allegedly makes around 3 recoveries in the attacking half, and most of them are made because of his high pressing ability. Is that not a key facet to what Arteta wants from the team? I'm not too sure. You lot tell me. Again, he's got the ability to occupy spaces to a top class standard. He's a player that will cost a premium, but I think will repay it. I do think in today's day and age, us football fans, you know, I think goals and assists are ultimately what wins and loses games. So that's what teams live or die by. But sometimes players can score goals and they've not necessarily had a good game. Likewise, people can not necessarily get goals and assists and they affect the game greatly. And I think he would be a fantastic option on our left-hand side. You lot know me. I love Martinelli, but I think he'd be an upgrade on him. And it would be great competition between them two. And obviously, when you throw in Trossard and Gabriel Jesus and Saka in the form of Kai Havertz, we'd have a strong contingent of attacking players. You know, I think I speak for many Arsenal fans. I think most of our fans are prepared to only get one of a striker or a winger. In an ideal world, we'd like both. And it's going to cost money, if I'm completely honest with you. You know, I would say some rumors suggest that he could be leaving. You know, you look at Fabrizio Romano offering his opinion and you look at the fallout that seems to be coming from the man's agent himself. Again, I'm not too sure it could happen because when you look at it, you know, Conte has just walked in. Napoli have had a turbulent season where they're looking to rebuild. Yes, selling Osimhen and the man in question could raise significant funds for them to bring in players and revitalize the squad. But would you want to lose both of your key players? And I also doubt the credibility of the individual wanting to leave. I don't doubt that he wants to play in the Champions League and wants to play for certain clubs. But naturally, if you're him and you look at in and around the world of football, again, some of it is due to the league and the club you're paying that, but he's probably underpaid in comparison to similar level wingers. He's got 3 years left on his deal at Napoli, which probably means the next 12 to 18 months renewals start. So could this be angling for a move in a coy way? As we know, negotiations, whether it's renewals, selling players or keeping players, essentially it's business. And in business, a lot of poker faces are thrown. He's also competing at the Euros, so I don't expect him to make a move anytime soon, much like half the players that are linked with moves away that are representing their nations currently, people. He would be a quality player. And when you look at the rumors that are circling, PSG in particular seem to be linked with him. Apparently they've had £100 million bid rejected, which probably puts this video dead in the water, because I don't see Arsenal bidding for him, and I don't see us bidding 100 odd million on him. I'm not saying that he's any better or worse than some of the players that we're linked with, but in terms of the budget, we're not backed by an oil state. Arsenal might say, do you know what, money would be better spent in other areas. He has made no secret of a dream to play for Real Madrid one day, and while you couldn't rule that out, when you look at, you know, the stockpiling of elite talents that Real Madrid are assembling, and by the time this video's done, they probably find the next exciting South American talent, it probably seems very unlikely. You know, you've got Vinicius, Rodrigo, Endrick, Mbappe, and a bunch of other players that I've probably not mentioned, people. One thing is for sure, the initial 10 million that Napoli spent on him, they'll make 3 times that. Again, I'm not really good at maths, but they'll make a substantial profit. I think he's a quality player, man. You know, at 23 years of age, he's not even scratched the surface, and I think he's a footballer that the purists will love. I genuinely believe he's destined for greatness, and he is the poster boy of Georgia and Georgian football. He deserves to play in a top club in Europe, which I'm not saying Napoli aren't, and he deserves to play in the Champions League. I think there's a good trajectory that he could potentially go on. I think he's a player that our fans would like, and you know, 23 goals and 21 assists in 68 league appearances for Napoli, which equates to 25 goals and 26 assists in all comps, in 88 overall appearances. This shows that this is a player that, you know, has a lot to offer, in my opinion, and one that could in his own way be a curtain raiser for Arsenal Football Club. Sooner or later, the top clubs in other leagues away from Napoli will start approaching the club for his services, and I do think at a different club, a more attacking minded club, a club that's more on the front foot, I think that will help his output, whether that's his goal scoring, his assists, or other attacking metrics. And again, the fact is, you can have all the ability in the world. When you've got a willingness to defend and press, these are attributes Mikel Arteta would like. He seems like a very humble guy when you do your research into how he is as a person, his upbringing. He seems like he's got a lot of humility, which is something, again, which is a plus point for specifically Mikel Arteta and Arsenal. I do think he is viewed as a future star, and I do think he's got the ability to achieve that, and I think he will go down as a great for his country one day. I would love him at Arsenal Football Club if there was the capacity to do it. Whether we're able to get that done is a completely different scenario, folks, but I do think he would be great. You know, in an ideal world, we'd sign someone like him for the left-handed channel and a top-level striker to go with, once again, Martinelli, Saka, Trossard, Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus being fully fit, so on and so forth. We always speak about difference makers, and I think, you know, we're going to get to a point as a football club where we need to pay the going rate for players like this, and we need to focus on pipping Manchester City to winning the Premier League title before we talk about the Champions League. But I think I speak for every Arsenal fan where, you know, it was a missed opportunity not beating Bayern Munich, even though we gave a great account of ourselves. But it did feel like, you know, we needed a bit more. We needed some stardust. We needed some individual quality. We needed some players that are capable of just doing something in a healthy way, random, and just bailing us out. And I think he would be able to do that in his own way, people, if I'm completely honest with you. He's a player I like. He's a player that I enjoy to watch, and you know, you lot have seen my vids. There's not too many players I could say that. He's a footballer that the purists would love. So if there was, you know, a bit of spare money going around, if we did want to make a statement signing, this would be an individual that would be top of my list or nearer the top of my list, people. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. But as I always say, the dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notification bells, check out the rest of the other content. I'm off to edit another video for you lot. One love for tuning in. God bless you all. Stay to the end so you can see the other vids that you can watch. watch. Peace.